Hey everybody, Superfluous J here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and today we are launching Hedard and Nullfree to Eelollo in Eelollo. It's a crazy looking ship. I've had some issues with it, not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep trying to launch it now live because I think I fixed them all, but I don't know. So let's go. 3, 2, 1, launch. Okay, we got an apoapsis of 100 kilometers. Our tanks here, our side tanks are almost out. I actually expected to drop them in the atmosphere, so I need to change my staging slightly. Put this here, because when we leave the atmosphere, we are going to, of course, ditch them. But I really didn't expect this ship to do as well on the launch as it did. I'm going to have a ton more fuel than I actually need to do this mission, which is good because Eelollo can need a lot more fuel than you expect to do the mission. I'm going to hit F5 because I'm not 100% sure changing staging mid-flight is going to work fine for me. It did. And with 124 meters per second left in these tanks and 177 meters per second required delta V, I think we're actually going to drop these in the atmosphere, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it was too hard to do, but I ended up with a slightly larger, higher orbit than I want. But you know what? I'll live with it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And now these things... Can I switch to them? I don't think you can switch to debris. No, you can't switch to debris with the automatic controls, which I find annoying because I used to do that all the time to see if their periapses were within the atmosphere. Because I can't even set them as targets here, I don't think. Yeah, no, I can't. So we'll just assume. We'll assume they're fine. First of all, we need to get ourselves to the right time in Kerbin's orbit to encounter Eelollo. Where I want to encounter Eelollo. So I'm going to just create a maneuver plan to eject from Kerbin so that we get an orbit around the sun. And then I'm going to set Eelollo as my target. We're not going to do this maneuver now. This is just to get an orbit line out here so we can get this line. This is the ascending and descending node line. Now Eelollo is coming down here. I don't know if it's down or... Yeah, it looks like it's coming down here. We're going to miss this. So we want to encounter Eelollo over here. Which means we want to eject from Kerbin sometime past this. Actually, let's do this. Actually, do a little bit of a planning node here. Maneuver node controller. I'm just gonna bring off the prograde until we are just ejecting from Kerbin. This is something we should be able to do in the game inherently, but the game just doesn't let us do it. So now we have an orbit that basically matches Kerbin. So we can create a maneuver node here to sort of plan out what we want to do. Now, I'm doing this to the left of the descending node to bring my ascending node up. Because what I want to do is I don't want to match my apoapsis with my ascending node here. I want the part where our orbit is parallel to Eelollo's orbit to be touching there. And it looks like I'm still off by a bit. So let's do it. Let's go a little bit farther this way. The game lets me drag. There we go. That's too much. Somewhere around here, it looks like. Bring this up a little bit more. Yeah, that would be perfect. So what we're going to do is when we leave Kerbin here, we want to be going. We want to basically be doing this maneuver node. So what we want Kerbin to be where this maneuver node is. So I'm going to focus on Kerbal. I'm going to close this just in case it causes issues. But actually, I guess we could put this maneuver node perfectly horizontal here. And I'm going to delete these. Okay, deleted both of them just by deleting one, but that's cool. But this is where I want Kerbin to be when we go. And I'm going to hit F5, mark this occasion. And then we are going to time warp until we are just about there. Okay, this should do it. So now we can plan our actual burn with our actual ship. And I should probably bring my solar panels out because we don't have very much power here, and we have a huge ship that we're trying to do with reaction wheels, and it's not letting me extend my solar panels. I hate that. Okay, I did just make a quick save, but I'm gonna make another one, and then I'm gonna hit F9. And I'm going to extend my panels again, and now they extend. So now we'll actually have power on our ship. And here is the thing. I'm going to show you something that blew my mind when I figured it out. We need to eject to Moho. Do I keep saying Moho, or is this the only time I've said Moho? But we want a pretty massive maneuver node here, blowing ourselves way out to Eelollo's orbit, like that, right? And it's nowhere near where I want to be, which is annoying because... Oh, actually, I'm doing it at the wrong time. That's why. Because we're ejecting that way. But, so let's bring it this way. It's probably not going to be this big of a burn now because we actually have our... we actually have everything right. So let's drag it down a bit. This is looking better. So this would be the burn I would do in Kerbal Space Program 1. It is 2,196 meters per second. Write that number down. Because we're not going to do this burn. So we've got this 2,196 meter per second burn that we're not going to do. We are instead going to bring up Maneuver Node Controller because it's going to be much easier to do in here and much easier to see it. And we're going to chop this down by, let's say, I don't know, let's say 1,400. But then we're going to go radial in, negative 1,400. And then we're going to drag this guy back a little bit so that he's ejecting in the correct angle. And then we're going to look and see what happens to our node. Okay, it's a little bit, needs to be a little bit farther. Let's say 1,500. Negative 1,500. Okay, here we go. It's not quite as dramatic as it was in my other testing, but it's still pretty good. We got the exact same burn here by doing I don't know what you'd call this, 1,800 by 1,250 burn with the radial in. Giving us, actually, you know what, the ejection could be slightly better too. Let's fix that. We're leaving Kerbin exactly at the right time, and that's going to actually give us more of a boost, so I could probably bring off a little bit on the prograde. There we go. So there we go. It's less than 2,000, and before it was 2,196. That's like almost a 10% savings on our fuel by burning radial inward. Now you're asking yourself, why would this work? Why burning off prograde is working? Well, the problem is prograde is this, and when prograde, what we're not saying is burn prograde, aim at prograde the entire time, like I thought actually Kerbal Space Program was doing, and maybe in future this won't work because maybe they'll change it. But what it's saying is burn this way throughout the entire burn. So what we're doing is we're bringing this radial in here so that we're burning this way a bit, so that as we pass by Kerbin, we're burning more correctly, I guess. And then so our burn is actually going to go here to here, I think, instead of here to here, which would be like more outward. And so you're burning against gravity more. So this way we're burning along with gravity. We're staying close to the planet. We're getting whipped around it and things like that. So that's why it's better. And there might be a way to do it with like integration of angles and stuff like that, but I'm not smart enough to know that kind of thing. All I know is this works. So the trick here is for every burn, you're going to have to add some radial to it. For short burns, it probably won't be enough to matter, but for longer burns, like once you get more than 5-minute burns, you're going to want to do what is this? Let me do the math in my head really quick. 2 to 3, two radials for each prograde. Once you get up to like 7 or 8-minute burns, it's almost 50-50. When I tested it with a 7 or 8-minute burn, it was like 7.5-minute burn. It was 50-50 was about as good as you could get. So you also, though, need your orbit to be high enough that when you do the burn, you don't end up in the atmosphere, which would be, let's say that would be bad. We are going up. Actually, we're going down, but eventually we'll go up. Interesting, our maneuver node changed. I'm curious if staging midway through caused some kind of an issue where the eventual orbit is not going to be exact if we follow the node. So I've zoomed out. We're going to watch this thing in map mode. Yeah, notice we've only got a minute left on our burn, and we're still burning radial, and we're still 115 kilometers over sea level. Whereas if we were burning prograde, we'd be tilted way up here, burning away from the planet, and we'd be really high up. So that's why this is better. You're basically making it inefficient at the very beginning to make it more efficient throughout the entire burn. These are guesses on my part. I'm sort of flying by the seat of my pants, as I always do. But that's what I think happens. And our orbit definitely doesn't match what we planned, which is interesting. I can only think that that means that staging midway through changed the direction of the orbit, like it recalculated it, which might be the problem people are seeing when they say that their orbit doesn't match. Their orbit doesn't match after they do the burn. That's interesting. But I think this is fine. This is close enough for our purposes here. We don't have an Eelollo encounter, which is annoying. But if we create a maneuver plan here, okay, we've got them marked on the map now. We do a maneuver node here, and we say, let's go for broke and try to fix our tilt while we're at it. This is only a 203 meter per second burn, though, so I think it's worth doing. And then we can get our encounter burn after that. So I'm not in any hurry. The whole point of Kerpollo is don't care about time. You know what I'm going to do? What if I were to add enough radial to get our orbit? How much extra is that? That's like... You don't even notice that delta V. So I'm going to actually do it. Our descending node, though, could maybe be slightly better. Let's... As well, if we're going to put the work into this, we might as well do it right. So we want a descending node. We want to do one of these. I don't know which one. Does it say your eventual total? No, it doesn't tell. It doesn't tell versus the target. Sadly, what we're doing. So, oh wait, there we go. Ascending node 0. Oh, also we've been on the road for what, 6 years now? I have no idea how long. We don't care about research inventory. When I was in the VAB, I could not get, well, by the head art and Nelfree are our Kerbals. They neither one of them had any stars, but I couldn't get Nelfree into the Explorer in the VAB. Just dragging him there made him not go in. So I put him in here, figuring I would be able to get him in there later. And look at that, I will. Aloha Ita. Okay, now here, we're going to make another maneuver node. And this is where we're going to match our orbit with Eelollo, in theory. Go plus an orbit. What is this going to cost us? Let's just check it out. Oh, I think we have an encounter here. This is going to cost us 1164. So we'll still have 800 meters per second, which is pretty good, actually. We do have an encounter. We can just fix it later. I don't really care about anything else. Yeah, when you go into Eelollo, the whole system switches because Eelollo has a massive tilt. People have reported this as a bug, but I don't think it is, actually. I think it's just the way, because we want Eelollo to be equatorial on our map. Which, maybe it's not. I don't know. I'll think about that later. I don't want to talk out my places. Let's change this to 1 second difference, and then if we change the time, there's literally no chance to see it. Okay, so let's change this to 1. We change our prograde a little teeny bit. 1166, and we've got 1877, so we're still going to be carrying this huge tank when we enter Eelollo Sphere of Influence, which is awesome. It means we're still going to have a lot of fuel. This guy here is really designed to bring us home, but he has enough fuel to slow us down as well a little bit. This is UT mission time. We've only been in orbit for 3 years. This actually would be funny if this ended up being a shorter mission than Kerpollo was, but I have a feeling it won't be. Yeah, because we're doing an entire orbit before we do our burn. Yeah, so just so you know, this orange line is what we're aiming for. This yellow line is our post-Eelollo encounter orbit. I saw that encounter. I think we lost it, though. Yeah, we're very close. We're very, very close. Let's actually go into map mode and back out again so we can see where it is. Okay, so if I burn a little bit here, that's putting them away from each other. So we need to go retrograde. Oh, there we go. We got our encounter. Let's zoom in on Eelollo now. Not going to really try to get this fantastic. I'm just going to try to get it closer than it is currently. pretty fantastic, though. I'll live with that. So now, sometime around here, not that much, and then maybe slow down a teeny bit. I don't know, again, which way we're going. These things, these splash animations do not help me one bit knowing which way is which. Let's see, radial is way too much. Prograde is way too much, so let's go negative, or let's go 10% here. So what I do is I make myself crash, and then now I know we're coming this way. Now, Eelollo rotates. Which way does Eelollo rotate? Let's, Eelollo's rotating that way. That's what I thought. So we need to actually come in on this side, so we're coming around correct. So let's go a little bit more radial. Now we're coming in the right way. Yeah, see, this is... Eelollo does not rotate in its plane. So that's what it is this thing is setting it up so Eelollo is equatorial. So we want our periapsis to be like up here. So that's normal plus. That's perfect, okay. And then radial is wrong. And then that gets us about at the equator here. I gotta say, I really miss the time warp mod that gives you 2 faster time warps. I don't know why they didn't add 1 or 2 extra time warp steps in this game. I have a mod that's supposed to do this, but it doesn't, it's not actually doing anything. I guess I could select preset. It's scary. It's scary to do this mid-warp. Maybe I should do this, play with it off camera and see how I feel about it. Yeah, look at, there's no way I'm going to get this exact. That's about as close as I can really hope to get it. So let's go ahead and delete this and focus back on Eelollo here. Pretty happy, but we're going to get a little bit closer to it and do another burn. You got to do these mid-course corrections. This isn't a failure of Kerbal Space Program. This is a failure of accuracy in the ability to actually do these burns. NASA would be doing these kind of things. Something I haven't done yet in this game, I'm going to thrust limit myself down to 1 second. 1% of the thrust. Now remember, I'm at 1% thrust, and I'm doing like 1% throttle of my engines, and this thing I'm going down to like 4 or 5%. That's how big of a change you can make with a tiny, tiny, tiny little thrust. I want to get my periapsis right about in the middle. I don't really care about the node, really. I was using the node to see which direction to go. So this should be put my periapsis basically at the equator. So let's time warp and see if that's true. Yeah, so when you go into map mode and you zoom in on a planet, it automatically puts you in the equator, which is nice to know. So I think that's fine. Let me go a little bit farther. And finally, we're going to be able to do some science. Attila the BB. I don't know what you just said, but I agree with you. 200, 250, 250. I like these. But now we need to thrust limit our engine way back up because we want to actually slow down. And you're never going to slow down at 1% time or 1% stuff. So let's go ahead and focus on this guy. Doesn't really need to be our target anymore, but it's not hurting having him be our target. And we're going to create a maneuver node here to slow way down. Yeah, we're still going to have fuel in the other stage. Well, I'm very happy with this. In my first test, I did not do this well. I'm actually going to bring it down because I don't know what low Eelollo is. There we go. 21. I think 21's fine. I don't know what low is, but I think we can go with this and see if it'll get it to us. At the very least, we can get into orbit and then figure it out from there. But I'm gonna bring my apoapsis all the way down. Okay, there's Eelollo. Let's go ahead and time warp around here. Oh, we're in the darkness. And oh, we have science to do, so let's go ahead and do a low orbit over ice fields, which apparently is a very common thing on Eelollo. We got even more science, which doesn't bother me one bit. We are 30 seconds away from a 22-second burn. That's only 22 seconds, so I'm not gonna bother doing the radial thing. I don't have time to do it anyway because it's 20 seconds away. But I probably could have fiddled with it just to see. But with these really short burns, I found that there's really no gain. We're actually not going up. We're going down. It looks pretty cool down there. We're going to be landing very soon. Okay, obviously 27 is enough. I kept my recording on so I would know what the limit was, but I'm probably never going to check it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get ourselves into this orbit where we can actually time warp. 27 by 27 seems reasonable. Okay, we need to go into ground mode now, because now for the important part of the mission that we're going to mark with an F5. It's time to undock. Do a gear check. Yeah, it's saying it's retracted, and then it's saying it's extended. So that's obviously wrong. I've hit F5, so let's go ahead and hit F9. And let's do another gear check. There we go. It fixes it. But anyway, it's time to land. What is that? That looks like a thing. I don't know if that's a shadow or if that's... Can we... No, we can't. We can't drag the camera around. We can look at it in map mode, though. We're orbiting this way. Yeah, it's like... I think it might be just... That might be just a weird graphics thing, where there was a crater and a thing in September. That really looked like there was almost an asset down there. But yeah, we got these big canyons. It would be a shame to come all this way and not... not try to land in a canyon. So, now we've already hit F5, and I'm going to do it again now that our gear is down. And we are going to undock this. This fuel is to get us down. This fuel is to get us back up. That's what this tank is for. I like doing that because that way you only need to bring one engine. So let's go ahead and undock. And we didn't get the indication that our mission was over, which is always a good thing. This ship doesn't have any solar panels. Just gotta live with the fact that it doesn't have solar panels, because I didn't bother putting them on there. It also means that when we go home, we're not gonna have solar panels on it for the return trip. But again, I don't care. Yeah, this is where I saw the asset. So maybe I should aim for here. I'm gonna aim for here. Yeah. Going up. So now right around here, we were to want to stop. Hitting the gas now. As the planet has rotated, this is actually where I was looking at to land. I don't see any anything that looks like a anything that looks like a anomaly. So I think I'm just going to land on this kind of flatty area up above it all. Okay, that should be good. And as long as we don't use up half the fuel, we will be able to drop this tank and then get back into orbit. No problem. Because this is the same amount of fuel, but we're not carrying this fuel on the way back up, so we actually have more delta V on the way up than we did on the way down. And don't you break the solar panels. There you go. Yeah, these landing legs could definitely use better suspension on them. I haven't really played with the suspension, and I'm always afraid to after the fact, but yeah, like that's too much. But hey, we're landed. Let's go ahead and take some research here. Yay. More stuff that I don't care about. Let's hit F5 to mark this occasion. Nelfree is going to hop on out. Let's probably get your jetpack on. Okay. And I don't really see any reason to stay here too long. I don't think there's anything important in the area. Whoa, I thought you were walking. You were actually flying. You're not actually on the ground. There we go. You are in a precarious situation here. But it's letting you do the surface sample, so I'm just going to assume the best. And plant a flag. You can't. I'm going to restore from our quick save and try this again. Okay, now you're walking. That's what we wanted. I somehow confused the game by... Nope, you are again flying. Okay, we're going to plant a flag right at the base of the ship. Okay, Eelollo Nelfree was here. And are we going to take bets on what flag comes out? I'm guessing it's the same one as always. It's the one with the red. Yeah, that's just what it is. It is what it is. You can't really stop it from happening. Okay, get in your ship. We need to launch to the west, which is the way we're facing, which is awesome. And I don't really see any reason to not, other than the fact that I'm probably going to launch higher than the orbiting craft, just because I don't. Oh, also, we need our resource manager up. We still have a little bit of fuel left in these guys, but as soon as they're gone, we're going to ditch this thing, which looks like it's going to be like basically immediately. So let's go ahead and hit this. Let's go and aim ourselves a bit this way. And as soon as these guys are out of fuel, we are going to ditch this. Oh my god, stop telling me things. Undock. Okay. Then we're going to aim prograde. And then we're going to burn ourselves up. Apoapsis of, let's go with an apoapsis of 25. Actually, let's go to an apoapsis of 30. I want to be able to time warp. I'm willing to be less efficient if I can time warp. Okay. 33 by 30. Perfect. Just watching our encounter markers here. They get closer and farther from each other. Maybe next orbit here. Yeah. Okay, if we were to place a maneuver node here, then that's really, really well. That's really, really well. It's really, really good. Actually, to the point where I'm just gonna time warp to here. Get ourselves down to him, and that's like perfect. I think I'm just gonna do that burn. It gets us a like a crash, but who cares? Don't know exactly where our target is. Oh, there he is. Hello. He is rolling like a crazy person. Let's go ahead and do physics warp. I don't know exactly what was going on with that, but okay, now it's the old simple trick of control from here. That this is our target. Actually, not that simple now that I think about it, because nobody has. We have monoprop, but we don't have monoprop engines. He does, but they're going to be terribly unbalanced. So we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way, which I really don't care about. I don't mind. I don't mind docking manually here with such a small ship. Target. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, now what we can do now is, now that we're close, we could roll from here, put him as the target. Trying to set the docking port as the target, but I can't. What's up here? Set his target and then aim at it. I need him rotated 180 degrees this way, and then my keys are going to be all matched up. I want his door on the bottom and his window on the top. Okay, so now left goes left, right goes right, and everything is correct. So we're going to hit F5 here, and we're going to go forward just a little bit. I'm just going to see what happens here. Theory. That's way too much. That's way too much. That's why you hit F5. The problem is the lander can does not have a very good reaction wheel. Oh, goodbye. That's very annoying. Actually, let's make sure. Yeah, he has an orbit. We don't. Okay, let's try this again. Here's where monoprop would come in very handy, because we would be able to slide sideways a little bit, but I think we'll be fine here. This is looking pretty good. Wouldn't mind slowing down, that's for sure. Come on. Be good. Yes. Let's assume that was part of the plan. Okay. Oh, we're ready to start coming home. First of all, let's bring up the resource manager. This FLT-200 tank we don't need anymore. And then we also don't need null free in the Explorer anymore. So now this ship is useless. I'm gonna hit F5, and we're gonna undock. So now we want to burn back to Kerbin. So let's go ahead and just do that at the correct place because we're going backwards. Oh wait, we're going backwards. I'm stupid. I'm a dummy. Let's actually get ourselves, because we're not gonna have time to do this on this orbit, and I can use precise node now. Sorry, maneuver node controller. Sorry, it's going to be really hard not to call it precise node a lot of times. Let's go ahead and bring our time up. We can do it this way. And that's right. We don't want it perfect. We want it so that we're parallel here. We don't want the apoapsis right. We want the parallel right. So let's go ahead and add some prograde here. Get ourselves down-ish to Kerbin's orbit, give or take. This is only a 50-second burn, so I don't think any radial is going to actually be necessary. But if we do radial, it's going to be radial out, or radial in, I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and add 25 radial in just to see. I don't think I'm going to get this guy down to Kerbin's orbit. And it's a 1337 meter per second burn. We got plenty, so we should be fine. And then this gets our periapsis down, so it's roughly at Kerbin. Somewhere around there should be fine. And it's right at our ascending node, which is perfect, so I don't see any reason to do anything else other than this. We can even probably fix our tilt when we're over here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's mark this on the map as a thing we're going to do. We are going to aim at it. Now, we've only got this much electric charge left forever in our ship. That's an important thing to note. And it looks like we could actually do it this orbit. Yeah. Let's I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it. This might screw up the node. If we go minus a node, it's in 24 seconds. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Okay, and we're going to lose this engine in a second here. Okay, the game just decided to flip around, but we're almost there, so no big deal. I think we could actually just kill this and get our orbits touching. Perfect. The ship can get electric charge from those, which is nice. Let's say I plan for that. At my descending node here. All right. Descending node of 0. We have encounter markers. I'm happy. Now, at our periapsis, create a maneuver that will get us an encounter with Kerbin. And it looks like we're going to do it this orbit here. Sort of. There we go. I'm surprised that doesn't actually give an encounter with Kerbin. We can see like where Moon is compared to Kerbin. We're definitely going to be within Kerbin's sphere of influence there. There's just no way that's not. Okay, so let's go ahead and aim at that maneuver node, which I think I'm going to thrust limit these guys. Okay, 1% might have been excessive, but I'm not going to change it now. Okay. I don't see how that's physically possible that it's not an encounter, but let's go ahead and create a maneuver plan here that shows us the encounter. So now we can focus on Kerbin. A really good encounter. Focus on Kerbin itself. We're coming in from some direction and going some other direction. And then that would give us a collision, which is fine, but I don't really want to die. And around there, we've still got 1,000 meters per second. So we're gonna actually come in from like regular orbit, which is awesome. So I think 156 is perfectly fine. We have so much fuel, it's kind of ridiculous. And we're gonna do this burn. We're gonna do it pretty accurately. I mean, I could actually stop here, and then we'll get a slightly off-center return. You know what? Why not? I like this. Okay, and it's actually within the atmosphere. So what we're going to do here is time warp to it because we can't place a maneuver node in the SOI. You guys are almost home. The mission timer, 11 years. Yeah, this was actually shorter than Kerpollo. Wow, I haven't called Dres Dre in a long time. Let's create a maneuver plan here to basically slow down completely. Let's do this so that our periapsis is at, we'll say 30. Let's go 25. Let's go for broke. So this is the direction we're going to want to burn. And when we run out of fuel, we'll probably just be entering the atmosphere, which is fine. And then our periapsis is 24. And our orbit looks like this, which is very reasonable to come down, especially when you have a heat shield, which we do. So Kerbin is around here somewhere. There it is. Hello, Kerbin. Oh, it's been so long. 11 long years. I'm going up. Again, you are not going up. You're going down. If my periapsis gets below 25, I'm going to cut the engines. I've had this problem before where periapsis was lower than I expected it to be. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we do only have 5 meters per second left in the tank. But let's go ahead and... yeah, I definitely don't want to come below 25. So let's go ahead and aim ourselves radial out just for funsies. And then retrograde. It is only now I realize we don't have parachutes. And by the rules of Kerpollo, this doesn't count because they're going to crash and die. And I'm a moron. I can't believe I did this entire mission without parachutes. So we are going to launch again. And just so you see, the only difference between this ship and the last ship is that this ship has parachutes, and I also added RCS jets, and we're also orbiting Eelollo the correct direction, and at a higher altitude. And upon return, we got 10,000 science, which is semi-ridiculous and much needed. But anyway, we're gonna unlock the Rhino and some big fuel tanks, which is awesome. We are also going to, with our rest of our 9,000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we can actually unlock all of these. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to definitely unlock this one. More monoprop isn't really all that important to me. Neither is more space probes. Really, I think it's these two things. And then the monoprop. And then the probes, if we can afford them, we can. And then we can't afford anything in this tier. So we unlocked all of these from Eelollo. The most important ones, of course, are these here, because these are going to make launching the big stuff to Jewel and Eve all that much easier. But that's going to come next time, because, or not next time, the time after next time, because next time is going to be Mahalo. And I hope you're looking forward to that. I'm definitely looking forward to doing it. I'm Superfluous J, and I will, as always, talk at you later.